Godspeed, Spider-Man. Oh.
Well, at least this game was entertaining, and I gotta say, I had a really, really fun time watching this game live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another recap reaction for the Winnipeg Jets 2021-2022 season for Game 16 out of 82, where they fall to the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 3-2, which was actually a pretty close game at times, even though it kind of got away from the Jets, I would say, in that second period. They didn't look very good. The Canucks were able to get some goals on the board, and I didn't really like the Jets in that second period. The first period, they looked like a team that was very skilled, a team that we've all become very familiar with to start this season, but they just looked like that version of the team, but insanely tired. They looked like a team that had done lines for about an hour and a half before coming onto the ice for warm-ups, and with good reason. Obviously, that game last night against Edmonton that went to a shootout was one of the most entertaining and close games of this entire NHL season, so it makes sense that the Jets coming into this game would be pretty tired on a back-to-back. And I also got to give props to Eric Comrie. I don't think he had a terrible night. Let's be real, the penalty kill kind of failed him tonight a little bit, as we've seen in some of the other games early on in the season. The Jets' penalty kill has been a problem from game one, I would say. It's had its moments from time to time, even on this stretch where we've been very good in that last homestand, but I still got to say, the penalty kill is the big area of improvement that we need to see from this team. Everyone needs to kind of gel it together and really become more focused and figure out what their identity is. They just seem like a really basic, old-school style power play. Penalty kill, that 4 guys on 4 guys. They leave that one guy at the top in the blue line to rotate back and forth with, and it's not being very effective, especially against teams that have talent. The Vancouver Canucks obviously tonight were able to score this goal on the penalty play, and it was a good goal for them. And you can't blame Eric Comrie for it, because what is Eric Comrie supposed to do in this situation? There's not much that he can do. And I just got to give props to the Canucks, because they actually have been playing pretty bad, and they came tonight, and even my girlfriend, who knows barely anything about hockey, said that the Canucks look like a completely different team because she's watched some of the highlights. And I got to say, I agree with her on this one, because the Canucks look like a team that was hungry, and I'm glad to see it, because they have a lot of skill, and they should be playing better. Also, they're in a different division than us, so in reality, we only play them one more time this year, and I'm pretty sure that's it, except maybe another matchup in Winnipeg, but I don't think that's going to happen, because I can't even remember. But either way, we don't play them a lot, so it's good to see the Canucks at least get something rolling. But the Jets were able to play a pretty close game at times. Obviously, you saw that skill set and this team's versatility offensively come in at times. But again, what really weighed this team down was, I feel like, that tired, bagged skating effect type thing that you saw. A lot of our guys were really slow. I'm going to rag on Blake Wheeler tonight. I thought a lot of the guys played hard and dug deep to get the speed and the agility that they had, but Blake Wheeler, he was out of gas from puck drop. And he's already been really slow. This is his game. This is who Blake Wheeler is. So am I going to rip a guy who's getting up there in age for not having the speed to keep up with a 20-year-old? Absolutely not. That's not realistic, and it's not his fault. Whose fault that falls on is Paul Maurice and the coaching staff. I don't understand how they haven't seen this guy struggle immensely like I have, just watching him on the other side of the ice. That's the only difference tonight between what Paul Maurice saw and what I saw. I was almost at ice level with Paul Maurice at the eye level that I had for tonight, and Blake Wheeler was bagged all game long. Yes, he had a couple good shifts, and yes, he made some decent plays, but in reality, that's not where he belongs. He weighed down Kyle Connor, like I said he would, playing in a top 6 with that much speed, and it doesn't make much sense that he's up there. I think he's got that skill set to play there when it comes to just being able to pass the puck, but even then, he's lost it with his strength, I would say, and he's a good player, but needing to find that right role for him is going to be key for coaching staff, and they have to find that balance, because Evgeny Svechnikov, I'm going to say it, plays a more complete game right now than what you get from Blake Wheeler, and that's not a nag on Blake Wheeler, it's just for the fact that you're asking that man to do way too much at his current skill level. Put him on the third line, put things back to the way they're on the top, and I think that's how we could easily get a much better team moving forward. This was also a pretty chippy game, I gotta say. Lots of scrums, lots of attitude. The Jets taking some lazy penalties again, mostly I would say due to tiredness, but nonetheless, still lazy penalties. And again, when you get 2 goals scored on you on the penalty kill and you're taking lazy penalties, That's obviously not a very smart way to try to win an NHL hockey game, and that's something the Jets need to be better at. We've seen that a little bit from time to time, and it's obviously been an identity of the Jets for a very long time, taking these bad penalties. But what really comes down to is the fact that they really need to play simpler hockey, even when they're tired. They try to do way too much, and this really comes down to when they were struggling in the second period. I thought they were doing a lot in the neutral zone, a lot of bad passes, a lot of crisscrossing, really not any good zone coverage. The Canucks had a couple really good zone entries because the Jets were just being lazy in the neutral zone and they weren't really covering any guys, and they left a lot of zones open for that trap style defense. And even though the Jets don't play a trap, when you leave that much ice open to a Canucks team with a lot of guys that still have some skill, even though they've been struggling, they're going to find a way to score on you, especially when you have your backup goalie in. And that's not a nag on Eric Comrie, but the fact remains that he's not Connor Hellebuck, right? So you have to make smarter decisions if you're the Jets in the neutral zone. And I saw a lot with Kyle Connor tonight. He made a lot of unnecessary moves going into the zone, and I know that's part of his game, but it clearly wasn't working. So either don't do a dump and chase constantly, but try to shuffle it up a little bit. There's got to be some way that you can find a balance to the offense with moving the puck into the offensive zone. The Jets have a lot of skill up there. We know how good they can set up when they get in. The problem is they just couldn't get established really tonight in the offensive zone. When they did in the third period with the extra man, they scored. The Jets looked the best tonight when they had puck possession in that third period with pressure. And obviously that's because they have that extra intensity of we have a minute left to score, this game's done, and we already got one. So obviously you're going to try to play the best hockey you can and dig deep and find the strength to do the best hockey you have, even when you're back to back like this. But I still got to say that they just got to be better in that regard. You got to find a better way to set up. If you're going to be that deadly setting up, you got to get clean zone entries. You can't do everything one-on-one, especially when you're tired. Try to use the guys around you. I think that was kind of what killed the Jets from time to time. They had some good steals in the right near the blue line. Try to pump it up. They make too many extra moves going into the Canucks zone, and they turn the puck over really quickly. If the Jets were able to set up a little bit and get some better shots on Thatcher Demko, even though Thatcher Demko made some great saves tonight, he didn't get tested with a lot of high danger opportunities. He was mostly just a lot of corner shots, a lot of point shots, really easy looks, wide open glove saves, nothing that really had to challenge him a lot. And that's mostly because the Jets couldn't get established and set up properly in the offensive zone. If they can work on that and their zone entries, I think they're going to be much better. And we know they are, so it's not really work on it and be better. It's a team that was tired, and you definitely saw that in the game, right? Obviously I'm going to take this game with a grain of salt, because I know the Jets are better than this, so I'm not thinking they're a bad team, and the sky is not falling, and the Jets don't suck. They've lost 2 in a row, but they got a point the other one, and they could have won the other game, and they could have won tonight. It was just little things like that caused them to go 0-2 on this, 0-1-1 on this road trip. But nonetheless, I still think that it was a good road trip to kind of figure out where the Jets are. They played a really tough top-tier opponent in the NHL, and they took them to a shootout where they could have won the game in the regular 3 periods, but they didn't. And they also could have won the shootout, and they could have won an OT, but they didn't. It was a close game, and they didn't win. It sucks, but we got a point. And in a game like this, on a back-to-back, after a game like that against the Oilers, where they still showed up, played some good hockey when they could, obviously looked tired, and you have to, take that into consideration. I think this is a good, test for the Winnipeg Jets, I think that it really kind of shows where they are, how they can play in a back-to-back situation, what they look like in case of the playoffs with rest and whatnot, and how their energy level will be. And I think, for game 17 of the season, or whatever I said it was at the start of this video, I think that the Jets are in a pretty good place right now. We're going back home. The road trip is done. Let's see what we'll be when we get there, play some more games at home, and we'll get Paul Stastny back most likely when we get returned. He didn't travel with the team, but he's been skating on his own in Winnipeg, so we get Paul Stastny back. Maybe Blake Wheeler can come out of that top 6. We can put that Svechnikov, Kopp, PLD line back together. PLD Connor, not with Svech, not Kopp, but nonetheless, we do that. We can shuffle things around a little bit, go back to the way they were when we were really, really hot early on in the mid part of the season, early mid-season, I guess. I don't know, during that 8 to 12 game stretch, 15 to 14 game stretch, whatever. I think that's where the Jets kind of need to get their game back to, and it's right there. They just need to do little tweaks, and then once they do that, they'll be a very deadly team with a lot of skill. But let me know your thoughts on this game down in the comment section below. What did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know everything down in the comment section below. As always, make sure to go into the description, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, check out the Prairie Puck Podcast, subscribe to the Nolan Hockey Podcast, my co-host of the Prairie Puck Podcast. That's a lot of podcasts in one short burst, but nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on this game. Follow me on all those links down in the description below. Comment your thoughts. Have a great night. Subscribe. Peace, love, and positivity. You're all awesome people. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.